There is a specific contradiction that plays out in broad daylight every single day. It is the learned ability to hold a perfect smile in front of a crowd while privately falling apart inside. This diagram shows how invisible pressures actually compound. Demanding family expectations and the constant lingering fear of failure do not manifest as physical fatigue. They create an internal exhaustion that quietly stacks on the shoulders. The outside world often misinterprets this facade. Friends and acquaintances scroll through curated online appearances and brief, superficial social interactions, assuming the person behind them is perfectly fine. But the private reality is different. Every morning starts with a heavy, leaden fatigue, the result of fighting internal battles that never actually pause for rest. This creates a cycle where the effort to blend in is so successful that society only pays attention when a mistake is made. The immense daily work required just to stay afloat goes entirely unnoticed. Over time, the instinct to explain this state simply fades. The silence takes over, driven by the realization that most people are only listening to the surface level of the conversation. By successfully faking normalcy to make everyone else comfortable, you ensure that no one will ever stop to ask if you are actually okay. When the sun goes down and the crowd disappears, the setting shifts away from the noise and into the absolute isolation of a dark room. In that physical silence, the internal volume spikes. The thoughts of loneliness and self-doubt grow until they fill the space. Hours are spent staring at the ceiling, trapped in a loop of overthinking, circling one specific question. Does anyone in my life actually care about my existence? The height of this quiet suffering is incredibly still. It is sitting in the dark, holding a phone, waiting for the screen to light up with a simple message. Are you okay? Minutes bleed into hours, and as the night passes without a notification, the absence of that message confirms the very isolation you've been trying to outrun. This moment causes an internal collapse. It isn't a simple desire for attention. Rather, the blank screen acts as a mirror, forcing a direct confrontation with the reality of being truly alone. But in the aftermath of that breakdown, a shift occurs. The passive waiting stops, replaced by an acceptance of the situation as it truly is. The realization is clear. The rescue isn't coming. Absolutely nobody is coming to save you. This diagram illustrates how the focus of your energy shifts. By accepting that no help is arriving, you stop looking outward and begin the work of self-reliance. Once that truth is accepted, behavior changes. The chase for other people ends. The subtle pleas for attention vanish. There is no longer a need to justify your pain to anyone else. Letting the savior illusion die is the specific psychological mechanism that starts the active process of rebuilding your life on your own terms. The rebuild is a quiet, incremental process. Focus narrows entirely inward as you choose to strengthen your own mental, emotional, and physical foundations day by day. The person who used to cry alone in the darkness transforms into someone who can stand on their own. This graph shows how that transformation works. The external world and its difficulties do not become easier. Instead, internal resilience climbs until it rises far above the pain. If you are watching this and you are currently navigating the silent struggle of maintaining that public mask, remember that this isolation is a phase of construction. This period of your life will eventually give way to a different reality. By learning to survive this silence alone, you are proving to yourself that you are capable of endurance. You are accumulating the evidence you need to trust yourself more than anyone else. Nobody ever came to ask if you were okay, but the act of standing back up in the dark and surviving without them is exactly what makes you unshakable.